welcome to my channel. We are going to be discussing a touchy subject today. And I want to say, what are the risks of moving in a situation or going public in uncharted territories? And today I'm going to briefly discuss a situation that has made public an extremely big public broadcast of an extramarital affair that has made an extreme mainstream appearance, and the public cost that a young person has experienced in public scrutiny. And I want to bring it to the forefront of the dynamic of why this is probably frowned upon in such a way due to a lot of immaturity, emotional dysregulation, so many different other things that goes along with these particular types of situations that one probably is not really emotionally stable to be a part of, or don't have the emotional or mental maturity to be a part of. And we're going to talk about it, right? Right now, today is Monday, April the 13th, 2026. And, right now the trending topic is Remy Ma has just placed out a diss track, called Why You Effing Lying. And this is in response to months and months of a lot of things that has been placed out there for public consumption in regards to her public relationship with her husband. And everything that I'm going to say here, of course, that has been placed out there for public consumption is heavily alleged, for I was not there to account or attest the information that has been placed out there for public consumption. So it could be not. I was not there, so I don't know, right? I'm only utilizing this information because it has been placed out there, publicly, and it could be used for examples for things that are, really, going on in everyday life. This is just as in, this is just have a bigger magnifying glass that is placed upon it, but it's happening every day. But nevertheless, all information is heavily alleged because I wasn't there. I'm just utilizing the information for this live, or not this live, but this video, to use as an example, right? But as I was saying, this is, is something that is happening all the time. And, a lot of what has transpired here has just having a big magnifying glass that has been placed upon it. But I want to talk about it because of the dynamic that has taken shape and form in this reality. And it, it does come along with a lot of dysregulation as to why it is moving in the manner to which it did, and it still is, because there is a lot of people that is involved that is operating from a sense of survival and a sense of a dysregulated nervous system. And upon some of the research that I have been able to get my hands on in terms of what has been placed out there, in video, storytelling, by some of the the participants on own admission, there is a lot of dysregulation that is there as to why this has placed it more in a lot of dysfunction in the forefront. And I do feel, a sense of compassion for what has transpired, but we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it the risk of going public in uncharted territory. So when you're in the public eye and you rely on the public as your fan base, the public as your fan base to facilitate whatever it is that you're doing, right? And you are in the public presence, okay? And you are looking for, the public acceptance for them, to support whatever it is that you're doing, okay? There are certain rules and different things that comes along with that when you are looking for public support, when you become a public figure, right? And, the brand deals and different things of that nature is definitely in support of that, because that same public opinion about how they feel about you is going to also be contingent on how their brand is going to fit into that equation. So when you become a public figure and you're good at whatever it is that the people in the population has accepted and placed value upon you, that all ties in, right? That all ties in. And, it goes along and it gets along. And so when you become a public figure, you have to do a lot of things a little bit more differently than your average John Doe. Okay, your average, Joe Sneggler, and Susie Sapphire, you have to move differently. And in this case, with, the Remy Ma situation, which is, she is one of the major, public figures in this ordeal, and soon to be ex-husband or husband. We don't know how this all configuration is still ongoing. And then this other, third wheel, which is, the Clarissa Shield factor, this triangle sense of situation, all of this mess that's going on has really been put out there in such a way where now a mass opinion has taken effect, and the mass opinion has taken size. Now, in a society where women has a stronger energy in this public opinion of persuasion, you don't, from an energetic perspective, once you get a woman not on your side in mass persuasion, that's not a good thing, because we spend the most money. We move from emotion, you know what I'm saying? And so when you get the woman's emotion, the mass of the woman's emotion, and it's not on your side, that's when the major essence of the energy will shift. And that's what pretty much has happened in this situation. But I'm gonna bring it a little bit more into what has happened. And I'm gonna talk a little bit about Clarissa Shields first and foremost, because Remy and Pap's situation, the dynamic is just a marriage that was going through its trials and its errors. They were having their normal marital problems, and it just became what it was, you know what I'm saying? But we're going to talk about when one chooses to become a side situation or an extra part of the equation willingly, right? And then this is where the maturity aspect comes into part, whether this person is mature enough to be the side piece or don't have the emotional maturity to be that side piece. And that is pretty much the determination of how this thing is actually going to go down. And 9 times out of 10, when there is some essence of survival or emotional dysregulation, the likelihood of this actually going good is probably going to be more unlikely than likely, because there is no there is a level of dysregulation that's going into into that situation. And in essence of Clarissa Shield, in garnering information about her, her dysregulation stems from a long history of relationship issues, not just from a romantic perspective, but even from friendships, from any type of ships. It has stemmed from a long history, even in her childhood. And whether or not that has been addressed or not, or has been dealt with, there is no signs of it actually being dealt with, other than a release mechanism through her boxing. But anything more deeply related for her to get a grip of that, other than that being her outlet, I don't see anything else, has been documented or noted for her to start to begin to deal with a lot of the trauma that has that placed her into boxing to begin with, because the river and the well runs really deep on her end. And so when you put a person that is still dysregulated in a core value, and you just give them an outlet to just for release, but there is no nothing to kind of deal with, to bring them back to an understanding of how to regulate that, it's counterproductive. And so when they're not in boxing and they're not having an avenue to release, because you can't box 24/7 if you don't know how to regulate those emotions, other than boxing or getting in the ring or whatever the case may do. What happens to the time that you're not boxing? How do you learn to cope with those internal issues that you have that placed you into the arena of boxing? What other mechanism do you have to deal with those issues that put you into you being, an elite boxer? You know what I'm saying? If you haven't found anything to really deal with that, then that is totally counterproductive, right? Because you can't be in the boxing ring 24/7. And how does that allow you to be able to deal with other aspects of society, people, places, persons, and things, right? And when events come into the equation, how do you know how to cope and deal with those things? So, from what I've garnered with her, there is a deep embedded trauma, and her only outlet, from what I can see, is boxing. And she has a lot of abandonment issues, and it seems as if that, because of it, her, unresolved trauma, unprocessed trauma, and different things of that nature, her not knowing how to resolve things other than to just fight and to argue, and to, that's her love language to a degree. And then now she has to pay people to be around her. And when she gets tired of that, and she, it's just very, very dysfunctional. It's very, very dysregulated, and it's survival based. So if she's just she's in a heavily survival based reality that she is creating for herself, because it's in a dysregulated sense of being, because her only mechanism for release is through boxing. And when you're not boxing, what else do you have? So her perception of reality outside of that is very much distorted. And what can you do? What if you're not dealing with the resolution within yourself to figure out, how can I overcome my perceptions of how I see things? And if I only see things through the lens of what has distorted them, then I'm just going to go through this reality in a chaotic way, through the lens of how I see myself, because of what has traumatized me. So therefore, that's why she called people bald-headed. That's why she called people poor. That's why she called, because these are all her, and this is how she has seen herself. People calling her ugly and all of these things. These are just, echoes of everything that has transpired to her. So that's the lens that, she has seen the reality through. And many of us, that are also operating through survival, we, also are not going to have the time to stop for a moment to really pause, to really understand how deep the well goes with her. So we got so much going on. We moving from a reactionary state to like, we're going to match that energy instead of like really, understanding where this energy is all coming from and why. And so we too also is going to match that energy. But the bigger thing about it is that too, she's in this, extramarital affair. And because of the need to be validated, because of so many insecurities, and wanting to be chosen and wanting to be validated by substance, and also, wanting to be in the limelight and wanting to be, recognized for her talent, and also being afraid, knowing that, there's a little afraid little girl, no matter this bravado that is on the exterior that has been created to protect that little girl, there's still a little scared little girl that is inside her inner child. And this bravado is only can upkeep for so long. So now it's looking for another outlet to maintain a quality of life from a financial mean, because I got to be able to keep up this facade, because I only can buy friends. My money is the only control I have to keep people around me. And that's not even working. You know what I'm saying? That's not even working. That's only a temporary fix. So there's a lot that comes with that young lady that has not been addressed. And she's had so many people that are around her. And she won't let nobody, I don't know, but it appears that if not, there has not been no professional intervention, it's either one or two things. She's either refusing it, or no one has really introduced it to her. It's one of two things, okay? So that's in itself a whole dynamic. And then you have the extended part of the family dynamic that shows itself to be why she is the way that she is, okay? So that whole dynamic is just what it is on its own standalone, okay? On its own standalone, Clarissa Shields is her own dynamic by itself. And it comes with a lot. And so if nobody don't understands her dysregulation, and what all comes with her, that in itself is going to be a challenge in its own right, because that's a lot. It's a lot. And it have highs, lows, and in between. And it comes with a lot. And I'm not even there to say that I know for my own, personal edification or experience, but just listening to the narratives, from people that have experienced her. And I'm not saying that, it is it's all bad. There may be some good times, but when it's bad, it's bad. You know what I'm saying? And it's not good. And I know that there's another side to the story and different things of that nature, but you got people from all walks of life, from the time that, when she was young. And I've been like, because I really wanted to give her a chance. Like, I really wanted to understand, where is all this coming from. But it's, as you keep pulling the layers back from the onion, it just doesn't get any better. It just does not get any better. It just constantly keeps resurfacing that she's protecting this little girl that's inside. And that energy, that monster is there for whatever, is down for whatever. But every now and then that niceness do peek out, but it's not there for long. That monster is there to protect that innocence of who she is on the inside, but that monster is there. And a lot of times, people see that little innocence or what have you, but don't get it twisted. Okay, it's not what you think it is. It's that incredible Hulk. You wouldn't like it when you know what I'm saying? It's the Incredible Hulk. So that Clarissa Shields situation by itself is one thing. And so now you bring in the dynamic of a marriage, and then you have this unstable live wire that's looking for a host, and then now you have an unstable situation, money is involved, lifestyle is involved. A person is looking for another way to maintain a lifestyle. Find this vulnerable person that is a live wire, but is also looking for some sense of acceptance, validation, want somebody to choose them, and different things of that nature. Want that security, want that protection, and different things of that nature. Tired of fighting, want somebody to have to fight, and it just so happened it looked as if it came in a married man, right? And didn't care, and still had their own mental things that is going on, or whatever the case may be. But nevertheless, didn't have no odes to anybody, because hey, I've been through the ringers and the rigor and the Monroe, and nobody seemed to care about me when I was going, through what I was going through. So why should I care about anybody else? You know what I'm saying? Like, that caring about other people's feelings, it goes out the window. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, she's in this dynamic, and she doesn't care, and she just wants to be seen. She wants to be validated. So here it is now. They go out and they make this relationship public, but perhaps coming into the situation not knowing the full scale of what actually comes along with her in totality. Like he said, it was organic at first until he got to seeing what the whole picture is, right? And I'm pretty sure that in the initial state, it may have been, yes, I found a situation, or I found a lick, or whatever the case may be, however it went down. But then as he began to start seeing things for what it really is, it became something entirely different. You know what I'm saying? And like I say, we're not there. I'm not there. Everything is speculative. Only those two know what the true dynamic is. But then also too, they put their stuff out there for public display. You know what I'm saying? Like they say, they control the narrative. They control what is being seen. But I don't care what you're trying to say. Some of the stuff that y'all don't put out there is true. Okay, it's true. Okay, emotions and energy don't lie. Okay, well, especially a person that's in energy don't lie. And on Clarissa's side, she wear her emotions on her sleeve because she's operating from a reactive state. She's dysregulated. Not everything with her is calculated. It's very true, so so at the end of the day, she's telling the truth. She's giving the rawness of how she really feels on a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? So whereas Pat can hold some sense of composure and be off the radar with a lot of stuff and move in silence. A lot of women can't do that. You know what I'm saying? And she's one of those, especially with so much trauma that she's holding on to. She's not at the stage of the maturity to be able to resolve a lot of things. So she's going to be reactionary a lot more than your average person, And so, as I said, with him coming in and seeing, and like I said, I'm just being speculative here, but how I, am reading all of this, he came in, saw what he saw the family dynamic, saw a lot of dysregulation, and he began to have second thoughts. And I think that's what made him probably start reconsidering trying to, how can I say, get back with his wife, that Christmas run. Because I remember when he touched down in New York, he had put up a post and he said he was glad to be back home, around that Christmas time. He was like, glad to be home. He said, glad to be home. And then that's when she got to getting crazy, you know what I'm saying? And he was with his family. They was together. They was trying to hide it or whatever the case may be or what have you. And, it was showing what it was showing to the public or what have you, right? She was sending messages and different things of that nature, right? They were sending subliminals, okay? All right? But then I guess Remy couldn't trust it or whatever, because he went to Africa and all this other kind of stuff. And then Rem started dropping stuff and saying, I knew you was going to do this and that or whatever, because Pap had done signed that contract. He had done gained the trust of, Clarissa. He didn't know what to do, because now he done got in a little bit more deeper than what he had thought. They didn't know. This is what the entanglements does. The energy gets you, the dysregulation gets you confused. There's no clarity. There's no clarity when you begin to get into all of these energetic type of entanglements. And with, Clarissa's energy being, so dysregulated, and you're operating in all of that dysregulation, and you're all in that dysregulation, you're really going to be in that chaos and the confusion. You're not going to be able to see the clarity of anything, until you pull yourself out of that major dysregulation, right? And so you saw, that you had this idea and the promotion and the win, all of this idea, and you saw opportunity, and then you was in your emotion, and you thought that this was going to give you, whatever you and Remy may have. Like I say, I'm just reading the room. Whatever you and Remy had, you start thinking back, like, this might be my chance. I ain't in Remy's shadow anymore or whatever, because, in your mind, this Remy was the true star. You was in her shadow. Now you got an opportunity to shine on your own accord. At least you thought that was going to be the case. But that could have never been the case with Clarissa, because Clarissa dysregulation was way mad different than Remy ever was. Like, it was a totally different type of dysregulation, like totally different, one to which you were not used to. You know what I'm saying? You used to your wife, but this type of dysregulation, you had no idea what you was getting into, especially when it came to the family dynamics and different things of that nature. Bro, you wasn't used to that. You was not that whole, what came along with the package, that whole dynamic, you was not used to that. There's no way you could have got used to that. You was used to quiet. And that dysregulation over there was louder than a mug. It was loud. Like stadium broadcast loud. Ram and everything kept a lot of stuff on the low. You know what I'm saying? You wasn't used to all of that noise. Even though things were, probably what it was, but it wasn't loud. You know what I'm saying? So, but now, it got, with everything, the dynamics of what you and your wife went through, it's done. You know what I'm saying? It was what it was. It is what it is. And you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. I've been married for 30, I forgot how long I've been married, 35 years or whatever, somewhere up in them numbers, okay? So I'm pro-marriage, and trust me, we done had our ups and downs, done had our, things to the left, things to the right, at the end of the day. So I have some things that I can speak on, you know what I'm saying? I'm speaking on experiences. So I'm not speaking out, out of the side of my mouth. We done been through some things, and that's what happens when you choose. You could choose to work it out and let bygone. You really can, because life be life, and you can work it out, because the grass ain't always green on the other side. You know what I'm saying? But if you know that situation also in dysregulation with your wife, like I say, it has to be two people that is in agreement to be together. And if your wife ain't no longer in agreement with being with you, and you ain't in no agreement to be with her, then it's done. That's a wrap. Pack it up and move on to the next. You know what I'm saying? But as far as that with Clarissa Shields, or whatever the case may be, that's a whole nother world, and it's loud. Okay, it's loud. Okay, so if you decide to move into that world gonna need some stabilizing. Okay, and you being a man with some age on you, and you ain't used to that as you get older, you don't want to hear all that loud noise. So if she's not able to be regulated, that's what you got to look for, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what to tell you. She's gonna need some counseling and some training and some I don't know. She's gonna need a lot. But she really got to really look into herself and ask herself what got her going. Like, what is her deepest hurt? What is her deepest pain? What is her deepest trigger? What makes her contract? What is her deepest fears that she needs to overcome? You know what I'm saying? What triggers her? You know what I'm saying? What doesn't she feel safe? You know what I'm saying? Like, because her nervous system really is in a lot of threat. She's threatened by a lot of things, and that's what got her going. And like I said, for a person to be like watching your wife like that, you know what I'm saying? Like, watching your wife like that, that's crazy. That's mad crazy. That remind me of that movie with Beyonce was in, Fatal Attraction and stuff like that. Like, that's some dysregulated shit. That's really some dysregulated stuff. That somebody is so threatened by the nervous system is so threatened that I got to emulate and mimic. Now, a lot of people call it, in the spiritual world, they have a name for it. I can't think of the name of it right now, but you have to really look at that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a major dysregulation. And like I said, I listen to you. You say that family is first. You know what I'm saying? And I know that if family is first, you're not gonna let no side person just disrespect your wife or the mother of your child. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't gonna be no rebut. No, if you really, is still with Clarissa, it ain't gonna be no rebut to a person that you dealing with like that, disrespecting your wife or disrespecting the mother of your child. You're not gonna let that happen. That's not gonna happen on your watch, right? And then, more importantly, the first rap that was written wasn't even written by you, right? From what the word on the curb is saying, that was the word on the curb, heavily alleged, was written by the former best friend, heavily alleged. I don't know, but that's what's out there. So, I know you respect family. You know what I'm saying? So I know you're not gonna let all of that take place. So I do have some level of respect for you, a little bit on that. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna let nobody disrespect, your wife or the mother of your child, that drastically, publicly like that. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't gonna be no release or no diss track on the mother of your child, right? However, you know what I'm saying? Clarissa needs to know her role. You chose the side chick, and the side chick is that what it is. You got to know your role. You got to know your position, and you got to adhere to it and stay in your lane. You know what I'm saying? That role has its rules and its regulations, and 9 times out of 10, it requires for you to be quiet. It requires you to stay quiet and know your position, and that's it. You deal with what comes with that role. You know what I'm saying? Like, the man normally, when he have a side affair or a woman have a side affair, they're normally in an indecisive state. They don't know whether or not they want to stay in their marriage or they want to leave in their marriage. And you're there to, ease the tension of that indecisiveness until they can decide what it is that they want to do. And some of them get comfortable in that decision for quite some time. And if you decide person sit there making that person comfortable, then that's on you wasting your time. That's your choice, your decision. You have to say, okay, well, since you can't make that decision, then it's time for me to go. Like, that's your role. It's not for you to force that person to leave that situation. You can't force that person to leave that situation, because if they wanted to leave that situation, they would leave. And that's the truth. Not, that is the truth. You can't force nobody to leave nobody. Nobody is not making you fall in love with nobody. You're choosing to love that person in those conditions. And just like you chose to love that person in that condition, you could choose to not love that person in that condition. You know what I'm saying? So it's up to you, and it is what it is. Until it's not. And I just wanted to put that out there because, a lot of people have a lot to say about what it is, her behavior. Her thing is not about her boxing, and everything has, shifted from her boxing to this whole mess. And that's because she feels unloved. She comes from a thing from a dysregulation. It don't take away her behavior. She done made this bed, and she's not popular no more. She's like unpopular now, and she has to change that. And it ain't gonna change if it's disingenuous. People gonna feel the energy of that. You can't just change your public impression or opinion. It ain't gonna just change like that. People gonna feel the disingenuous of it, because it has been like this ever since you were in your teens. Ever since you've been this way. And I was trying to give you a chance. Like, I done did a history. I've been peeling back the layers, and I'm like, come on now, come on now. It's been like this. It's been like this for a while, And then when I seen your girl that you fought against, like, she just locked you off like that. I'm like, come on now. And I'm like, everybody falling off the map. And it's, it's because of, what's happening. What you're doing. You finding this love in this guy. And this guy, he's married. And your world ain't stable. It's not. And if Remy has chosen not to deal with him no more, and Remy was the one that was offering a lifestyle as the talent, the real true talent. And I'm not saying that Pap don't have no talent, but Remy was the marketable talent. She was the talent that had access. And see, the thing of it is that you can have talent, but does your talent have access? And Remy's talent is the talent that has access, right? And if your talent don't have access, then it doesn't make. You could have all the talent in the world, but do your talent have access? And Remy's talent have access. So you could, like you're with Clarissa, you're trying to get access. Clarissa had access to a degree, and now that done went down the toilet. And so you could have all the contracts in the world, right? But if you don't get that access, then what purpose does it serve? What purpose does the contract serve when the talent can't make any money because it doesn't have any access, right? What you have to find another host, right? The parasite has to find another host, right? The parasite has to find another host. Hey, so Clarissa, if you not calling you, a host, but a spade is a spade. If you can't produce, and you fall out of the grace of boxing, what does Pap have? Because he has a lifestyle that he needs to maintain and sustain. That the one person that had access to give him that lifestyle, if she doesn't want him back, what is he gonna do? That's just my opinion. I'm just saying. All right, so with that being said, I am going to end this, and this is, like I say, the risk of going public in uncharted territory. And this is why most people in the industry, they don't go public like this, because they know that in this particular genre, it's not socially acceptable. It's just not. If you want to go unpopular real quick, and especially if it's somebody who is loved, and you will get canceled quickly. Okay, this ain't it. This is not what you do. You know what I'm saying? This is not what you do. And the thing about it was, what happened was, when Pap did not divorce Remy, it sent a message that he still loved his wife. It sent all kind of messages that he still loved his wife, that they still loved each other. And when you saw that he did, as the side person that loved that, when they saw that you did not let that go, when we saw that you did not let that go, when he did not divorce and you did not let that go, that's when you lost the public opinion. And I know that you don't care, but see, the thing of it is this: you rely on the public to come to your fights. You're relying on the public to buy your music. You're relying on the public to be a support to your talent. And when you go public like that, there are some things that you just got to do, because you are moving based off public perception of you. And when you saw that Pap did not divorce his wife, you should have made a public announcement that, I'm not moving that way. Now I'm done with it, because he won't leave his wife, and it is what it is. It was what it was, and I'm done. So that you can maintain the integrity, not fight his wife over her husband. That ain't what you do. That ain't it. That ain't it. You never fight a woman over her husband in public. That ain't it. That's just not it. That ain't what you do. You will lose, especially in public perception. That ain't it, baby girl. You got a lot of growing up to do, but speaking from experience, I've been married for 35 years, and that ain't what you do. And I've been there, did that. Know it all. Not know it all, but know enough, to give you a few words or two, out of love, out of caring, out of concern, not in judgment. But there are people that are judging. Okay, they're judging you right now, baby. They judging you, and it is what it is. And it don't went through the gate. All right, so peace and love to everybody. I hope that this message bring forth a sense of clarity and understanding, especially on the side where mental health is concerned, dysregulation of the nervous system is concerned, family dynamics is concerned, all of that is concerned, and it comes together cohesively where people can just, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? No judgment on this side, but I'm glad to share my perspective where it's a matter of concern, because I was getting on these people, channels, and I was leaving long dissertations, because I'm very thorough, I'm very detailed in comments and different things of that nature. And I'm like, you know what? Let me just go ahead and make my own video. I do have my own platform. I don't really like talking about this stuff like that, because I'm more into the metaphysics of things and different things, and I try to keep it in that dynamic. But I'm like, I'm writing these long dissertations because I just gotta get it out, So I said, let me come on my own platform and say what I need to say. So there, I done said it. It's out there. So there you go. All right. All right. So with that being said, I'll talk to you guys on the next go round, and I'll see you guys later. Later.